How's it going?
Great.
Can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? Introduce yourself and just...
Sure. My name is Dr. Sherri Tenpenny. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm an integrated medical doctor that have been there since 1996. We have 3 areas of focus in our practice: women's health, children's health about allergy elimination, breast thermography, and pain elimination techniques.
That's really interesting. I have a friend in San Antonio, that's where I am, and I'm a herbalist. I practice there. She just got into breast thermography, and I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful alternative because mammograms are awful. Can you tell, the listeners a little bit about why they're so bad?
Yeah. Mammograms are a diagnostic tool. They are not anything that prevents cancer. In fact, they can cause cancer. So what we're supposed to do with mammograms is they were never intended to be a screening device. What they were intended to do is be a confirmation device. But if it's the only tool that you have, that's what you use. It's like the only tool in your toolbox. If the only tool in your toolbox is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So with a mammography, what they do with the mammogram is it's identifying whether or not you have cancer right now. So what we do instead is thermography, and thermography is a test of your physiology, so it can identify areas of concern in the breast tissue 7 to 8 years before it will ever show up on a mammogram. So you've got time to do nutrition, supplements, herbs, homeopathy, nutrition, lifestyle changes, so that you can heal up the breast tissue and make that go away.
That's so important. I've actually been talking to many of our listeners about the thyroid and iodine and its relation also to the breasts and how the breast tissues have receptors for iodine, and that's one way to also enhance health and prevent breast cancer. But I've lectured yesterday about the liver and how the liver health is so crucial, and most people's livers are in terrible shape, and if they don't cleanse their livers, really an unhealthy liver is almost the prerequisite to getting cancer. If your liver's healthy, you're much less likely to get cancer. I wondered if you'd share your thoughts on that one.
Well, I'd like to go back and share my thoughts about the iodine connection, because that's really one of my areas of expertise. And there's many, I pulled over 400 articles out of the medical literature that talks about that people that have thyroid disease also have breast disease, or the other way around. And the reason for that is it takes about 150 micrograms of iodine a day to keep your thyroid healthy and to keep from getting a goiter. It takes 3,000 micrograms of iodine a day to keep your breasts healthy. And so those are the things that are really super important to me.
Yeah, and one of the things that's really interesting is, of course, our government and puts out RDAs, which are minuscule at best, especially when it relates to iodine. And iodine is such an important nutrient, not just for the thyroid, but for the breast, for all your endocrine tissue.
And your whole GI tract.
And your whole GI tract. It's amazing, but it's not in our food anymore.
Right.
And really, I mean, one of the things that I recommend to people and have been doing for a long time is take iodine. I have some of my clients come to see me. What's going on? I'm growing hair back where I haven't had hair for years, and interesting. Ladies who have hair coming back under their arms, haven't had hair, their eyebrows are coming back. Amazing.
Yeah, it is really amazing. And I guess I would just caution to the general listener a little bit that if you have thyroid disease and if you're on thyroid medication, if you've had some serious issues with thyroid in terms of something like Hashimoto's syndrome, that taking large concentrations of iodine right off is really not the smartest thing for you to do. In fact, most of the time I recommend that people really do not take more than about 3 milligrams a day on a general rule if you're on other types of medications. But if you're under doctor supervision and that they can manage and monitor other things, because I have to have a lot of respect for iodine. You can have side effects that come from iodine because iodine can detox the bromine, chlorine, and fluorine in your system, and you end up with a lot of side effects that people blame on the iodine, but what really is happening is that they're detoxing toxic halogens out of their system. So I have a lot of respect for iodine. I'm very cautious about telling people to push that up to a higher level of dosages, but at smaller doses, everyone can do.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, it's something that people need to supplement with because they're not going to find it enough or adequate iodine in salt, for example.
Right.
Iodized salt. Plus, salt in general, table salt that's had iodine added to it is a problem anyway. And most table salt has very little in the way of minerals apart from sodium chloride and the little bit of iodine that floats away.
Right. In order to get enough iodine out of iodinized salt, you would have to eat between 11 and 15 teaspoons of iodine salt a day. So it's one of the reasons why everybody is iodine deficient, is because they don't eat eggs because of cholesterol, and they don't eat fish because of mercury, and they don't eat salt because of hypertension, and they aren't going to get enough salt in that anyways. And so iodine is just an amazing sort of thing that people really do need to pay attention to. And they can do it through natural things like kelp products, all kinds of different shakes and things like that have in it. I think that people should eat a lot of eggs. I'm a really big fan of organic free-range eggs. I think that they're one of the most underrated foods that we can eat.
Yes, they're a complete protein. They're very bioavailable, but of course you've got to avoid battery, regular store-bought eggs, and look ideally for a farmer that can produce eggs locally, then grow your own, raise your own chickens. You know, and when we created the EnerFood formula, it has kelp and dulse in it, spirulina, chlorella, so there's some sources of iodine there that are very bioavailable for folks, and it's very important. So, well, I think we've probably done about 10 minutes. I'd love to have you on the show sometime to talk further.
Great.
Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
If people want to find out more about me and my information, my website for my clinic is www.tenpenny, T-E-N-P like Paul, E-N-N-Y, tenpennyimc.com, and the IMC stands for Integrated Medical Center. So tenpennyimc.com. If they want to find out information about books and DVDs and things that we have for sale, they can do it through our store. If you want vaccine information, go to drtenpenny.com for all the stuff that you need to know before you get that flu shot made from eggs.
Isn't that amazing? Vaccines is something we should probably talk about another time. Thank you again so much for being on.
Thanks so much.